KW Phoenix, happy Monday. It is raining out, and as a Phoenix native, this is the absolute kind of pinnacle of fabulous to me, and how fitting on October 1st to start what is sometimes a fall month with some slightly different weather. It's actually not even cold out. It's supposed to be, 88 today or something, whatever. Anyway, happy Monday. Welcome to October 1st. Thank you guys so much for your sweetness at my shower last Friday. Dustin and I loved it. It was great for him to get to see the office and get to know our agents at a higher level. And I just felt super loved and appreciated. And while it was very unnecessary, I'm just so grateful that you guys went above and beyond to make me feel so special as we go into this last month with this baby inside. Crazy. Anyway, let's talk shop. So before we dig into today's conversation on the budget model, let's review the calendar really quick. In just a few minutes, we're kickstarting scripts and lead generation. And then today at 1 o'clock, Will Carter is talking about how to win the listing. Now, if you want to be better with listing stuff, you need to go in general. But we're talking about once you have the appointment and you're going to go in, how do you actually get it? And for somebody who's been in the business for a long time and does an incredible amount of business, you're going to want to learn from Will. Wednesday, we've got Jean Rivers is flying in to teach that lead generation class. If you're already registered for Bold, you get to go for free. So if you haven't registered for the full Bold and you already know you're going, just go ahead and click the link below, register for Bold, and we'll get you signed up for the free ticket to Jean Rivers on Wednesday. And then Thursday is our big speaker for the month of October. Well, we've got two exciting speakers. This first one is Tina Tambor. So Tina is going to be coming in on Thursday at 1 o'clock to teach, and she is coming to us from the Cromford Report. If you're not familiar, the Cromford Report is kind of like the end-all, be-all for real estate market update statistics in Arizona. They do an incredible job analyzing how the market is being received based off of all kinds of different things, from interest rates to inventory to days on, all kinds of stuff. Whether you're a new agent or incredibly seasoned, I can guarantee you're going to take away great information. Last time I heard her speak, a chunk of the conversation was on the best zip codes to flip in for percentage of ROI and for your dollar for dollar return. It was incredible to hear her break down those two areas to really give great clarity on how I could better serve my investors. Go, go, go. Thursday at 1, you'll love it. Make sure to register below so we know how many seats we need to bring into the office on Thursday. So let's get into the budget model. So we've been talking about financial literacy and this idea of going into fourth quarter incredibly solid in our financial foundation, which is what we should be making great decisions off of for our business. So I wanted to teach you how the budget model runs. That way, as we go deeper into this in the future, you already are creating a framework for your own business. Now, remember on last week's video, we talked about the profitable way to understand your expenses, profit, etc. Now, accountants always teach us this model up here, which is also what we teach in MREA, because that's how we can compare apples to apples. But at the end of the day, you might want to start with a slightly backwards model, this one. So I believe it's in Profit First, the book. They talk about your gross commission minus your profit equals your expenses. See up here, profit's at the bottom. So it's just whatever is left is your profitability. And yet, why aren't we leading with that? Why aren't we choosing our profit out of the gate? That way we know how much we should go for from a gross commission perspective, and then we can use what's left for our expenses. So let's talk about what those expenses might be in the budget model. Gross commission is going to live at the top, $200,000, $2 million, whatever that number is up here. Cost of sales. These are items that are going to be directly related to closing a transaction. So oftentimes I might hear somebody say something like, oh, like a listing sign, that's related to me procuring business. Well, if you close that listing or not is irrespective of you paying for that sign. A great example of an expense related to closing a transaction is going to be commission. An office split, for example, would be in that realm. Errors and omissions insurance, since we're an office that pays per file, E&O insurance would be a great example of that. And then if you have a team, that would be the split that you have with your team. Whether that be you owning a team and the split that you pay to your agents in relation to their closing, or whether you're on a team and you're creating your own budget model, this would be the portion that you give back to the team. Does that make sense? Then we go down into operating expenses. Operating expenses are anything else that might pop up in any given month. So realistically, if you take your credit card balance, everything on there is likely to be an operating expense. So this is everything from maybe you rent an office. That would be a good example. Maybe you're doing some online internet lead generation. Maybe you pay for Mojo Dialer. Salaries, transaction coordination fees. Now, transaction coordination, if it's a salary, will live here. Transaction coordination, if you're paying like Angie or Heather in the office, then that would go up here, right? Because it's only the result of the close of escrow. So we've got our operating expenses, then we have our profit. So I left these blank lines here for you to figure out what you want yours to look like. These blank lines should be percentages. So if we're starting with this model, let's start with profit. What percentage of profit or what dollar do you want to make next year? Now you can do this by percentage or dollar. You can play with it either way. I'm going to talk in terms of percentage so you can match it up against the MREA model. Let's say you're a solo agent, right? In the solo agent model, we can have an extremely high profit margin because we're not paying a buyer's agent or a listing specialist or something like that. We have the opportunity to control our expenses at a much lower level. Now, we're also likely going to have a lower gross commission income, but that's irrelevant. Depends on what you want your business to look like, right? That's my vision for you guys, is for you to achieve what you want out of this business. So MREA teaches us 40%, but if you're a solo agent, if you have 40%, we got a problem. So let's say as a solo agent, you say I want 85%. Or 80 or 70 or whatever the case is. Now, if we have a team, it would depend on it if we're in production or out of production. So for my team owners out there, if you're out of production, they say 20 to 30%. If you're a team owner in production, 30 to 40%. It can also be way lower or way higher, but if we're comparing against the model teaches us 40%. And then research might change that depending on if you're in or out of production. So then we would go through and we need to figure out what gross commission we need to create to land at this number. And then we need to break these two out as well. So if we have our solo agent model here, maybe we say I've got 10% for operating expenses and for cost of sales and 5% for operating expenses. So 100% of our income goes at the top, we allocate some money for our expenses, and now we know what we want our profit to be. On the next video, we're going to be talking about what that actual budget includes, but you need to start by understanding how much money you want to make next year. And that's my homework for you guys. Go through your own business plan and figure out what do you want to put in your pocket next year, not what do you want to gross. I don't want to play the agent game where we talk in volume and gross commission and stuff like this. I want to talk about the number that's going to affect you, your families, and your life. Have a wonderful week, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.